Shout it out, everybody. We locked in. What's going on? What's the deal out there, man? I'm your host, Moshe Canty. Y'all tuned into the hottest channel on YouTube. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm glad that you guys could. I'm gonna wait for everybody to start pulling up, if individuals even pull up or not. You never know what people have to, what obligations people have. But I want to talk about this topic tonight. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I do, however, think it's necessary to speak about in these times that we're living in, um, because I think this is a conversation that is being overlooked, but it's something that I need to address, and I want to be able to kind of like do so without spending too much time on it. Again, I know people have obligations that they have to attend to. This is a holiday weekend. I know people are trying to get situated in various ways, so I don't want to hold anybody up, but I do want to add some clarity to this topic of brotherhood. It's important that we have these conversations and try to flesh out or weed out or sift out what is not being addressed, or to kind of distinguish oneself from a lot of what's out there, because you might see a lot of stuff out there and it's not necessarily authentic. But if you're not knowledgeable of certain things, it's kind of hard for you to be able to distinguish between what's true and what's false, or what's real and what's fake. And anybody can pretty much, give you a definition of something. But we're living in a world right now where it's like, everybody has a voice, because these platforms afford individuals opportunities to express themselves. So Hawaii Life 808, what's the deal? Shout it out to you, my brother. So, we want to have these conversations just to get a quick little understanding, to help ease the discrepancies that may be out there. So I titled this live today, what is true brotherhood? Why is that? All right, so let me just give you some quick backdrop as to why I chose this particular topic right here, right? I come from a family, Dow Tone salute, my brother, where there are six kids from my parents, right? And we literally, for lack of a better term, we were raised to kind of like be close to each other. Bilo, shout it out. We were raised to kind of be close to each other. And that was always like the ultimate objective. My father was really adamant about that and things of that nature. And he impressed upon us that, listen, in spite of the fact that, you guys might have the same father, but come from different mothers in many regards. You guys are not stepbrothers and stepsisters and things like that. You guys are siblings. So this is how he raised us. So this is something that we really, really held on to. This was something that was important to us. And I realize the importance of that right now, right? So, as a young individual, I really didn't appreciate it more so than I do now, right? But I'm gonna eventually kind of like bring you guys up to that. But I want to have the conversation as to why I think that's also important too, because without your foundation intact, it can kind of like retard your development along the way. So whatever you think you may be doing in your latter years, it can kind of get disrupted because your foundation is not necessarily sturdy. It's not firm. All right. So that's where my foundation rests at, right? It rests on those principles and those values of not taking for granted that you have family. I think for myself, I can readily admit that throughout the course of my journey from my origins to where I am now, I can see that the relationship itself of or the definition itself of brotherhood is not what I was taught as a young individual. And the reason why I say that is because while I was taught that your brothers are like your blood relatives and things like that, individuals who you share, relatives to, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just strictly relegated to that household. And the reason why that's important to me is because, and I have to say this is honest, I've actually had more stronger bonds with individuals who are outside of my home than individuals who are in my very home. And I think it's a result of the fact that, my father had different children scattered around, and like I said, we all come from different mothers and things like that. And I was able to kind of get more solid, build solid relationships with individuals who were in the streets, right? So if my brothers didn't live in my neighborhood with me, which they didn't, it was more than likely I'm going to spend more time with individuals in the hood in East New York, where I'm from, than I would my own biological brothers. So obviously, you're going to develop more knowledge of who these individuals are. You guys are going to spend more time with each other on a daily basis and things like that. So this is why I say that, I was able to kind of build more solid relationships with individuals in the streets and even incarcerated. When I got incarcerated later on, that proved to be more or similar to my brothers. Double R, shout it out. Proved to be just as significant as my brothers. So I guess the point I'm trying to establish to you guys is that your brothers don't necessarily have to be your biological siblings. You with me? They don't necessarily have to be your biological siblings. Give me a second, you guys. Pardon me, you guys. So yeah, so at the end of the day, that's a great point that I want to kind of like impress upon everybody, that the reality is that your brothers don't necessarily have to be from your same bloodline. All right. And that's key. So growing up in the hood in East New York, Brooklyn, I'm sure wherever you guys grew up at as well, you ran the streets with whoever you ran with. And some of you guys probably still have brothers that you can, you know, refer to as being like your day ones. This is where we get that term, your day ones, from, right? So, hey, what's going on, Miss Sunshine? What's the deal? So that's what that concept means, that these are the individuals who are with you from the beginning, right? So these are the individuals who are going to hold you down no matter what, through thick and thin. Even though we know that that's not always the case, individuals falter and things like that, stuff in life happens and stuff like that. But the reality is that these are your day one. These are the individuals who you can always rely upon because they were there from the beginning. And as you develop these relationships over the course of time, these are the people who you can rely upon. These are the individuals who you consider to be like my family, my brothers, and stuff like that. So where has these concepts of family and brotherhood, where do they come from? They don't just pop up out of nowhere. They just don't drop down, out of nowhere, right? We get them from somewhere, right? They can be connected to our family values, our community values. They can be traced to our predecessors, those who came before us. Like I just stated, my father, who taught us to value the importance of holding on to solid relationships, building networks, treating people with a certain level of respect, dignity, among other things, proving your value to individuals, proving your worth to individuals. With that comes responsibility, right? So I remember growing up in Brooklyn back in the days, we had a thing, we're always trying to prove ourselves, how much work you could put in. Whoever put the most work in, or whoever did the most stupid and most outlandish stuff, this is how your name got up, right? But the reality was that not everybody was willing to do the most stupid and the most outlandish stuff. It didn't mean that individuals weren't your brothers. It just meant that individuals were just trying to prove themselves to each other. So I thought that at the time when I was younger, that the individuals who engaged in more senselessness with me were actually more of my brothers than those individuals who were not engaging in the senselessness, but who only tried to steer me in the right direction. Point that I'm trying to raise is, for example, one of the older dudes in my neighborhood. And I can say his name because this is one of my bros from back in the days. His name is Thomas Bryce. Shout out to my brother Thomas Bryce. I love you, my brother. You and your family, the Bryce family. Y'all already know what it is. So this is the deal. So this is the individual who was in my life early on. He always took a liking to me. You know what I'm saying? He was like about 3 to 4 years my senior. But although I was wild and rambunctious in my own little crew, he always took the time out to try to guide me in the right direction. He never encouraged me to do the wrong stuff. You dig what I'm saying? So that's always been the relationship that I've had with this individual my entire life, right? No matter what, even when I was a knucklehead running the streets doing, Allah knows what, I still have people in my life who always try to give me the best advice. So what I'm sharing with you guys is this, right? There was a couple of individuals in my life. There was individuals who were considered to be my brothers, who we did stupidity with, right? Who encouraged me to do stuff that could cost me my freedom, cost me my life, risk my life and things like that. And then on the other hand, there were individuals who act like they were my brothers, right? Individuals who were just around just to be around. Now, yeah, we were all from the same neighborhood. We were all black and stuff like that. Some of us was, brown and things like that. For the most part, doesn't mean necessarily that they weren't my brothers, but these individuals were just not as vocal as the other individuals were, right? They just could have been straggler-ons and things like that. And then there was another group of individuals who tried to discourage my behavior from engaging in synthesis and things like that. So this is what I've learned, right, from my experiences. I've learned that the individuals who were more prone to encourage me to engage in senseless behavior are no longer my brothers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That's a good question. The answer is yes. Sean Allah, yes. The question is yes. But so this is something that I've learned over the course of my journey. That the people in my life who encourage me to engage in senselessness are no longer my brothers as I thought they were, versus those individuals who discourage me to engage in the buffoonery. I've developed more stronger relationships with them, even though these individuals were in my life early on, and they were not necessarily, I won't say they were not with me every day, but these could have just been regular individuals who are just giving you the best advice. Individuals who were not necessarily in your circle, but who were in your circle, but stragglers, so to speak. No, I won't even call them stragglers, but individuals on the sideline, so to speak. So the lesson I learned in this is about brotherhood. Do not be fooled by, and let me say this wisely, do not be fooled by the individuals who come into your life claiming to be your brothers, but they're not holding you to account. And this is what I learned about brotherhood. Brotherhood is holding you to account, not encouraging you to engage in behavior that could ultimately lead you down a dark path of destruction. Now, I get it. When we're young, you don't always understand the magnitude of your actions, right? The breadth and you don't understand how much foolishness you're engaging in and the harms that they have on you. So I'm not gonna blame individuals who were, childhood friends and things like that didn't know any better, because all we were doing was just being young, because I fell victim to that same thing as well. Over the course of time, however, what I realized is that this was something that continued to happen like later on in my life as well. I'm going to eventually get to that. And a lot of it came when, I'm not going to get into the gang subculture, because I don't never want to come up here and speak negatively about the gang subculture. I'm never going to do that. But the reality is that there was a lot of people who did more encouraging me to engage in senselessness, but yet who claimed to be my brothers. And this is when as I began to wake up at some point in my life, I had to realize that, oh shoot, not everybody's your brother. That was a harsh reality for me to face, because for me, I was so willing to always kind of like give myself. I was always willing to sacrifice myself for others who I thought were my brothers. You dig what I'm saying? And that ultimately cost me a significant part of my life. In retrospect, looking back, I realized that those individuals who were more of my brothers were not the individuals who I thought were my brothers. It was the individuals who I don't want to use this because I think that term is derogatory. I won't say stragglers. These were the individuals who, when them things came out and it was dark outside, they wasn't there. They got involved in stuff, but it wasn't like they were all the way in. They wasn't get gripped up with the vests on. They wasn't going to be out there with that pain, right? But they may have been looked at not necessarily as being soft back then, but nah, son ain't on that type of time. But I've come to learn that later on in my life, these were individuals who were more of my brothers than the individuals who I was engaged in the senselessness with. And the reality is that when we have to be able to distinguish between who are our true brothers and who just come around us, because this is what happens. If you have any type of influence, if you have any type of we all have blessings. All of us have blessings. We've all been blessed with a unique set of skills, gifts, among other things, right? But what I've learned is that people, we have to be careful because people will come around and don't know. I don't know if it's individuals will know that they're envious towards you because you might possess certain gifts. They might not have recognized their gifts as of yet. So as opposed to trying to invest in their gifts, they're envious to you towards yours. And that was my story. I didn't even realize it at the time, but the people who were in my life were actually envious of me. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in, man. I see you, OG Sonny Blacko, Rasta Foundation. I see everybody that's tuned in, man. Thank y'all for pulling up, man. To We Locked In. Individuals want to pull up, man. We could definitely prolong this conversation, keep it going. Like I said, I don't want to be here too long with you guys. I just want to give you guys a little bit so we can kind of like get some clarity on some things, right? And I just want to share this, obviously, little, give you guys a little backdrop regarding my story and stuff like that, so it can kind of help, conceptualize the term of brotherhood. So as I was saying, I had individuals in my life who I thought was like really like all in with me, right? But when I got jammed up in situations, I realized that these were not the individuals who I thought they were. They were not my brothers like that. These are the individuals who never supported me when I was incarcerated, who never took the time out to say, you know what, Mo is my brother, I'm gonna prove my value and my worth to my brother. I didn't get that. And that taught me an invaluable lesson. My individuals who claim that they were my childhood brothers ended up betraying me, right? You know what I'm saying? At some point in my life, individuals ended up testifying against, me and my crime at our trial and stuff like that. So I'm like, wow, these are individuals from my neighborhood who I thought were like my brothers. So I learned a hard way. I learned a hard lesson about what I thought to be true brotherhood. Now, again, my definition of what that is could be different from somebody else. So again, the first thing I learned early on was that you can never devalue who your brothers are, because some of us have brothers from our parents that we'll never be able to change, that these are our brothers. The second point I wanted to raise to you guys is that there are individuals who may be more of your brothers than your actual physical biological brothers, right? And the third thing that you guys understood is that your brothers don't always come to you as the individuals who you think they are, but they come to you as the individuals who you might not even think that they're your brothers. All right. If someone is in your best interest, if someone is giving you information that could help you, that could benefit you, and that person is not trying to gain anything from you, that potentially could be your brother. Because if I come to you and I'm like, yo, hey man, I see you looking for a job, and I have a job where you can work, you get good benefits, you'll be able to get paid every 2 weeks or what have you. You'll be able to stay out of trouble, take care of your family. I want nothing in return. I want absolutely nothing. I just want to see you in a better predicament than you are in, because I know you. If you're not capable, if you're not careful, then you're more than likely do something foolish. I don't want to see you go down that dark path, but I want to see something good come from you, right? Or from this blessing. That is your brother. That is a person who has your best interest at heart, and he's not looking for anything in return, right? Hey, like this guy. I want to see come from, right? Or hey, from this blessing. My brother. It's your brother. That is a person who has you turn off something in the background. What's up, my brother? Can you turn off something in the background? I hear some echoing in the background. Hey, 1 minute. Like this guy. I want to see. All right. My brother KK just pulled up, y'all. Hold up. My brother. You might want to go back out and then come back in and see what's going on. Okay.
1 second. You still see me there?
Yeah, I see you. I see you, my brother.
Oh, I couldn't even see myself.
All right, there you go. You good. I don't hear the echo no more. Nah, we good. Wait, let me hear. Nah, I don't hear it no more.
When I seen that, you know what I'm saying, on Brotherhood, I'm like, oh, my brother. Let me jump on there with my brother.
Yeah, let's pop in. Let's get this going. So I'm saying that the third point is that you don't know who may come to you as your brother. So And the reason why that's important is because we have this perception that the people who are with us every day are our brothers. But these individuals may be causing you more harm than good. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been giving you guys information. We've been giving you guys information about individuals getting indicted and stuff like that, and so on and so forth and so forth. All these individuals are facing a lot of time in prison for allegedly doing Allah knows what. It's really none of my business. And I don't mean it in that regard. I'm just saying, really, like it's none of my business. But I'm putting the information out there because if you got people in your circle, it's 10, 15, 20, 30 of y'all, and nobody's holding nobody to account saying, yo, bro, this is just like foolish here. This is literally going to get us all jammed up. This is literally going to get us all jammed up. And then y'all end up getting jammed up, and now everybody's faced with a significant amount of time in prison. Then I would argue that these individuals are really not your brothers. What were they gaining from that relationship that they were, that they were with you, right? Was it some money involved? Was it notoriety? Was it the women? Was it, the fast cars? Was it the flashy stuff or what have you, the bag and so on? Who knows? Right? It could have been a number of things. But you got to ask yourself, who's gaining something from that relationship? I still hear that echo in the back, hey. So who's gaining something from that relationship, right? Is it the individuals who are exploiting you? That's what happened in my case, right? I was an individual who was always on the front line. I was always the individual who always wanted to put in work from day one. This was always my story, right? From a young little boy in Brooklyn, whether it was East New York, Brownsville, it didn't matter. You put me on the front line, I'm going to set it off to the point where Moshe became the point person, right? He's going to set it off, right? I used to relish in that role that people knew that you can call on me to kind of set it off. But I was also so dumb because I didn't realize that people were like using me to kind of exploit or for exploitation purposes to kind of further their own diabolical aims and objectives. And that's something that we got to be mindful of. Are our brothers in our lives, are they genuinely trying to see that we're being uplifted, or are they trying to gain something from our relationship or the relationship that they are in, right? And that's something that you want to ask yourself. And again, it goes back to one of the first questions I asked. Are they encouraging you in goodness and discouraging you in that which could be harmful? Or is it the opposite? Are they discouraging you from doing that which is good and encouraging you from doing wrong? And I think these are fair questions. And I know I passed it to KK. So KK, real quick, what's going on? What's your when you think about true brotherhood, like what are some of the things that immediately come to your mind and based on your relationships with the people in your past, your present, and so on and so forth? What immediately comes to mind, my brother?
Somebody that's really there for you, man. Someone like for advice, for words of wisdom to inspire you, to motivate you. Someone to stand with you, whatever, like through the trials and tribulations you may go through. And it's crazy because a lot of times the people that we actually say, yo, that's my man and my brother, don't be the people that's actually doing that.
It's a fact.
And you had touched on a lot, even with, going through the system, going through that. And there was people that was real close to me that I considered my brother. Some was family. You know what I'm saying? That didn't hold it down. And there was things that, we can't say, oh, it could be. What I had come to realize is a lot of times we all don't be ready for the situation that we be putting ourselves into. And some even more than others, you know what I'm saying? Because some may have, other characteristics that they may be built, they may can withstand a little more pressure or whatever, and others just can't because, we're not meant to be living that particular type of lifestyle anyway. I'm talking about being in the streets, running around, criminal lifestyle, whatever. So some get into that to feel like they're a part of something, to feel like they in and not be ostracized by everybody else or their so-called peers, whatever. But then turn around when things really do happen, it's like, oh man, I didn't know it really get this real, or I didn't really know it get this serious. You know what I mean? And I've seen that, like I used to say to people, like, you don't never know a person until you in every type of situation with them. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who it is, because sometimes we don't see guys that was real close that may have put in some work when you was there, when I was there, but by themselves, they don't have no backbone. They need someone, or they need a crew to stand behind. You know what I'm saying? Or, knowing someone is encouraging them, they're gonna move and go forward. Or, put in a situation where they got to have a conversation and break something down, they end up giving up information more so than anything. And we don't necessarily know individuals until they're actually placed in those type of situations. And you're like, yeah, he done been through it, he handled it. I know he good. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because we tend to overlook those that have been authenticated, those that have gone through the actual struggle and progressed and survived and made it to the other side. We kind of turn a blind eye to those people. Like, dudes done been through it. Dudes done been through it, showed through everything. And it's like when you have others that don't, just because dudes is loud, talk live, or have a game, or they may be flamboyant. You know what I'm saying? Extra, show body where they got extra drip or whatever. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
he's yeah, but bro, ain't really been through anything.
That's true.
Man, yeah, really been through anything. So, like, it's crazy because a lot of the guys that be calling my brothers, dudes that I actually share stuff with in the pen, is because not even everybody in the pen, but those who've been through moments, we've been through moments together in there. Whereas you've seen a brother at his lowest, and you wasn't looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, I ain't mess with you no more because you ain't go to commissary with the max buy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to visit this weekend, or you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You can't put me on the three-way, or you can't. When we look at those things, like, all right, this guy mess with me. And I remember a long time ago, old dad told me, he said, yo, bro, once you surround yourself with positive things, right? So you're not smoking, you're not looking at books, you're not doing this, you're not that. He said, watch how many people just start falling off from you. He said, watch. And I did, and it's crazy because it's the same thing out here. When you're not interested in the stuff, all the BS that's going on, you start seeing people ain't gonna call you. You're not gonna holler at people. Like, all right, good. That just shows you.
Well, you know what, and that's a great point. Two things I want to touch on,
Let me go to the
and the
story.
first thing I want to touch on is when when I think of true brotherhood, I think of a person who is always thinking about my best interest, a person who is thinking for you at all times, even before they're thinking about themselves. Because I've been in situations with individuals who have egged me on to engage in buffoonery. But I also been in situations where individuals was like, yo, nah, dog, that's not a good look. That is not a good look. You need to really, really check yourself before you make your situation a whole lot worse. And don't get me wrong, I could have made my situation a lot worse at every point of my life. You dig what I'm saying? But I realized that there were like times in my life I had people that I'm thankful to Allah that people were literally in my life for a reason. One individual is Abdul Khabir from out of New Jersey. Shout out to the brother Abdul Khabir. Salamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah for that being my brother. And I'm gonna tell you something. Me and my brother was in Shawanga Correctional Facility. And not that I like to go back to the whole prison thing. I really don't care too much about that. But I realize that that's a part of the story, so it has to be discussed. But so I'm in Shawanga at the time. We're in CSU, and this is like a close supervision unit or whatever case can be like the individuals who are there, are your typical um, shot callers, individuals who can't really go to other spots because of their cases, because of their influence within the system and things like that. My reason for being in CSU was because in every jail that I actually was in, it was, me fighting against these administrations and things like that. Not only physically, not only putting hands and feet on these racist people up north, but also filing lawsuits against them for the institutions and things like that. So they had me in there because they felt like if I get to a spot, he has too much influence to kind of influence people to kind of go at the administration, right? So they had me there, and while I was also there, I got an opportunity to finally physically be in the presence of Abdul Khabir, who we know each other, but we never had the opportunity to spend the time together. So we finally, sit down and build and stuff like that. I'm Muslim now at the time. I'm no longer Damu, so I'm at a point in my life. Went through so much stuff, lost family members. I'm like literally just want to go home and just be a regular person, right? I don't want to, get in nobody's way. I'm not trying to knock nobody. I'm not trying to knock no lieutenants' heads off, no captains, no sergeants. I just want to be on my time, get out there with my wife and my family and stuff like that. So, but I had this brother in my corner, man. Allah is truly Ar-Rahman. He's truly the most merciful because he was there every day before he went to Jersey and got extradited. Abdul Kabir was with me every single day. And there was times when I'm telling you, I was about to go, both against individuals who were incarcerated as well as individuals, the silly officers and things like that. But it was always him there, reminding me of what my obligations were. And the first thing he always would say to me is, yo Musa, yo Moshe, listen, this is what Allah says, and this is what his messenger say. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him. So he would always hold me to account and tell me, one, do not become angry. La takda, right? Do not become angry, right? And that was what he would always say to me, right? Put your emotions in check, because this is what Allah will be displeased with. So as long as he put it into that perspective for me now, if I did anything else, I would now be displeasing my creator, the one who I pray at least 5 times a day to. So he kind of put it in that perspective. The second thing he did was, yo, Musa, Moshe, you know that this is not the way the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, would have conducted himself. So why is it that you're not conducting yourself in a similar way? So I had somebody in my life that was always pushing me to be the best that I could possibly be in that situation. And alhamdulillah, fast forward, this brother is home now after doing 32 years. And we work together now. You know what I'm saying? He's our mentor driver. You guys have probably seen him on some of our lives that we had when we was, up in Binghamton at his home. And most recently that he did with Mikey B up in Syracuse and things like that. But I'm saying that because I know that that's my brother. There was no gain for anything for him in that moment of, don't get me wrong, religiously there is gain. But for him, there was no monetary gain. He wasn't looking for any notoriety. He wasn't looking for any props. He wasn't trying to be the big bro. Yeah. I was the one that, it was nothing there but just trying to see the best in you. And I think what I've learned is that when it's genuine and it's coming from that perspective, these are the individuals who you should hold on to. When they have nothing to gain from, or at least imminently, nothing to gain from, encouraging you to be your best. Think about that. You got people in your life who are just encouraging you just to be your best. They don't want nothing from you. There's nothing there. Just be your best. You're better than what you've been. You're better than what these people have defined you as, have stated you are. You're better than that, and prove to yourself that this is something better than, that you're better than that. The second thing to KK's point is, when under those circumstances, I also realized that there were not individuals like that who were going to be in your best interest. And I remember going through the transition of being no longer wanting to be Damu, and then finally announcing my shahada and becoming a Muslim and stuff like that. Everybody literally was just like, yo, this can't be true. It can't be true that Mo, who committed his life to the Damu cause, has now moved on and he wants to live a spiritual journey to try to better himself on that level. No way is this possible, right? And individuals called into question the truthfulness of that. Like, nah, you know what? He just doing that to like hide for administration and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I know individuals do that, but I'm like, I'm at the end of my bid, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not at the beginning hiding and ducking and all that. Nah, I'm literally done did freaking 20 years of my bid. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm done. I'm burnt out, right? And that's where I learned the value of like true brotherhood. I came across a lot of brothers who was just genuine. It was like, yo, you know what? I'm really inspired and motivated that you have the temerity, the audacity to say, I want to change and I want to be better. And you think that this is the way to help you get better. And I want to support you in that. KK is one of those individuals. I met KK physically. Me and KK met each other back in 2017 in Shawanga. Right, K? Or 18? Can't hear you. It was 17, right? Hold on, let me unmic my brother. Why can't I unmic you? Can't unmic you, KK. I don't know what's going on. All right. So I met him in 2017 in Shawanga, right? So when I met KK, we all knew about each other because we came up together, banging and stuff like that. We knew it was just a matter of time before we had the chance of meeting physically, but we finally got a chance of meeting each other. Now he's at a point now, he then left his banging life alone. He's Muslim now too. So we meet each other in the masjid, right? And instead of encouraging each other like to be the worst part of ourselves, where we trying to cut this person or that. Now, I'm not going to say that was my thing. I'm going to sit up here and honestly admit, Moshe was not your predicate slasher. That was not my story. All right. So that's just, I'll be honest, right? Moshe was never known to be the guy who's going to come out his cuffs and cut you. That's just not my story, right? So I didn't come up like that. But the truth was that at the point of me getting to where, getting it. See, KK, we met each other at a different point of our lives. And one thing I always valued about you, my brother, was that we were meeting each other at a point in which we were trying to just better ourselves from an
Yeah,
Islamic standpoint.
it's crazy. No, it's crazy, and I'm just thinking about just the points where we go into these road, we hit these obstacles in our life, right?
Yeah.
And before, I remember when you had came. This was like when you had came to game like 2014.
Yeah, you talk about Green Haven. Yeah, that was in 2013. I came there, but they
Yeah,
set
and
me up.
it's
I had
like
to
it's
take it to
crazy
Southport.
because, and I'm just thinking about the mental space and
Yeah,
how it happens for a reason. Because it's like, if we would have actually linked up, then both of us was in a different headspace. Then you know what I'm saying? Even though
yeah,
we would have
yeah.
been good, we would have been good, but yeah, let's go. We got to get them out of here. Oh hell no! You know what I'm saying? It'd have been boom, because no one was pushing the agenda, and I was pushing a certain agenda. And at that point, it was like it's funny because I had just like at that time period, I was trying to actually pull back, but it was just I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. I'm like, yo, I'm retired, bro. I can't. Da, da, da. People going down around me, and me, I'm like, if a brother need me, I'm gonna be there, especially somebody that you know what I'm saying.
So you were still, and this is what that a lot of people don't realize though. So still, after being Don Moore for you for 20 years at that time, right? You was
yeah,
banging for 20 years, right? I mean, even more. Let me just say that. But at that time, you got 20 damn near years being blood, right? And
uh,
you now are going through something internally, but yet you are still faced with the conflict of wanting to assist an individual who was your brother, who was considered to be your brother, even if it may have been not even in furtherance of what your aims and your goals are. So
so
do
the
you
thing
think that
was,
that's like brotherhood? Like what does that mean in terms of brotherhood? Like you what because I just said one thing about
so
encouraging
no, no, I
bad
do. I
behavior.
understand. I understand what you're saying. So it wasn't so much encouraging bad behavior, but the bro wanted to do right. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
he wanted to take dudes to another level. And it was like, bro, I don't really, open
Okay.
up and say, I don't know how to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need help with some like organization and structure. Like, I really want to get things right and help these dudes. You know what I mean? And that's what it was really about. That's what kept, you know what I'm saying? That's what really kept a hold on me because I'm like, all right, bro was young. Um, he got a lot of good dudes behind him. You know what I'm saying? Dudes want to actually do stuff. And it's like, all right, what's up? What you trying to do, bro? You know what I'm saying? You have to set a vision for your people. You know what I'm saying? And especially with Stone, we used to use a lot of stuff from like the Bible, comedic science. So
Yeah.
I hit on with the Bible thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Stone to be rejected is end up becoming a cornerstone. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the things in the Bible, I forgot, I can't remember the verse right now, but it's like without a vision, the people shall perish.
That's in
And
Proverbs 29, verse 10. Where there is no
yeah,
vision, the people shall surely
yeah,
perish.
but so it's like if you don't got no goals, you ain't got nothing set for your people, y'all just running around reckless, bro. And all this is gonna be is a bunch of nonsense. Because you ain't even trying to achieve nothing. You're gonna do the same old thing that everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Which is really nothing. Running in a circle.
So what type of brother? What type of brother? Damn, I guess it's kind of asking a rhetorical question. You know the answer to it.
If your brother's doing bad, but you're doing good, do you still consider him your brother?
Yeah, like so we're all around and we're striving to do good because that doesn't mean that people are not your brothers, right? But
Yeah,
what
yeah, it
what
doesn't. Yeah.
defines brotherhood? Is it because we just happen to be all up under a particular banner or whatever the case may be like that?
So, all right,
Or
the
I
definition of
would
brotherhood
agree that that is
besides
brotherhood, but I also
uh,
believe that it's a verb too that they require some action as well.
it does. It does. And I was one of those. This is why, like, I loved by a lot, hated by you know what I'm saying? Because I considered you my brother if you stood for the very same principles I stood by, right? And that was the thing that was actually lacking in a lot of people because they became us, right? And my
Yes,
thing was if you're not with this cause right here, and if you're not doing what this cause says do, then you're not my brother. I don't care what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing this, that, and the third, and following these particular rules and regulations, doing this like that, then you're not my brother. I mean, and some people couldn't really like, oh man, take it, but did that, but not thinking like that with others actually caused divides because dudes were taking. You saw a lot of dudes were choosing sides because I want to go with this dude because this is my man. He got some money or he got bad, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing with him. He look out for me. But that same person is not standing by what we supposed to stand by. That same person is not doing right. That same person is promoting nothing but destruction and negativity.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like, shout out to True Melanin, John Shaft 139, everybody that pulled up, man. I see y'all pulled up nothing but the True
Yeah,
718.
forgive me too, because I'm actually I'm actually making something right now.
Nah,
Right?
go ahead, my brother. You
I
listen,
done
brother.
took one of these.
Listen, brother, we locked in, brother. You could cook, you could do it all on the show here. So my and I understand that, KK.
One of these.
Well, that looks nice. What is that, papaya?
It's a butternut squash.
Butternut squash. Yeah, it looks good. All right. So this is my thing about that, right? And I think that I saw it was conflicting then. It was conflicting then, but I understand now, right? I believe that everybody was our brothers. I still held on to that, but I've learned that being a brother also is also adding on. Like it's required that you have some form of action that's followed by that, right? And that means that, listen, I'm gonna do everything in my power to strive to overcome whatever deficiencies that I have, and not put myself in a situation that can ultimately compromise the brotherhood that we have, right? But not everybody thinks like that. Not everybody feels and thinks like that. It's kind of complicated to imagine. So, like right now in my life, right, I do believe that Islamically we have brothers in faith. But there is a distinguishment between a distinguishing factor between individuals who are actually going as far as doing what they should be doing versus those who are not. And that's another argument that I don't want to get into. But the truth is, it's kind of similar to some extent, and that's why I'm saying. So, what really defines true brotherhood? Is it the fact that because we just say we brothers and that makes us brothers? Is that all the way in? I'm putting that in the chat, man. Like, yo, what really defines that, man? Help us answer these questions, y'all. Like, I mean, what truly defines that? I mean, is it really because we're just brothers? I mean, like I gave you guys an example of having the same mother, same father, or not even same father, different mother, same mother, different father. Doesn't matter. And does that mean that, yes, that's my brother? Yeah, of course that's your brother. But isn't more required from that? Is it more required from being your brother? I know some brothers who literally can't stand each other, biological, right? And then I know some individuals who met people in the streets who are actually, you would think that they come from the same womb, right? And I think that that's important for us to kind of define, like, what is defining true brotherhood? Can I rely upon you? Are you credible? Are you believable? Are you trustworthy? Are you honest?
Do you believe in what I believe?
Do you believe in what I believe in?
You stand for what I stand for.
Are you someone that I can trust? Because a lot of times individuals, will tell you that they're your brothers, but behind your back, they got a whole bunch of stuff to say about you to someone else. Is that your brother? That's not to say that that's not your brother, but is that the type of individual who you want to be your brother? So there's a lot of underlying factors that kind of make up this whole thing. I'm asking the question to you guys in the chat. What in your definition is true brotherhood? And I see Sean La says true brotherhood takes time. It is a virtue, and at the same time, an ongoing insight about man being more about humanity and less about the ego.
I love that, bro.
Yeah. I really, really like that. I love the fact that it does take time. It's something that has to evolve over the course of time. It's not something that's just gonna. So I mean, hold on. Are you saying that it doesn't take time? Is it because that statement will give the impression that that's just like what it is, right? So are we saying that a person can't meet somebody and instantaneously, like, that's my brother? We've seen instances in which people have developed strong bonds from that, right? But I do understand your point. It is a virtue. You're right. It is a virtuous quality, right? And at the same time, an ongoing insight about man being more about humanity and less about the ego. It is, because when you get when you start educating yourself, you do appreciate the value of what your brother is to you and
Yeah.
who your brother is to you. And it becomes more about the humanity within you to want to kind of nurture and foster that relationship to ensure that you want your brother to be honored, revered, respected, loved, appreciated. And you want your brother to kind of reciprocate those same values and things for you as well. You don't want that to be compromised. You don't want that to be looked. And then you got to take in all these other factors as well, right? You say to yourself, "Hold on, man. I don't want to put my brother in a situation that could ultimately jeopardize his well-being, could harm him or anything like that." But let's move on. Nothing but the truth. 718 said exactly. That's our problem. We always want to be a part of something that's popular, which is true. But I'm looking specifically, nothing but the truth. Please help us define what true brotherhood is. Please help us define that, man. Jose Montalvo, shout it out. If y'all coming up in here, man, hit that like button, please, man. Riot Quiet, I see you. Salute, man. I feel better when negativity doesn't call me, but it makes me walk around at peace standing on my own, too. Yeah, that looks good, KK. Yeah, and that's a good point. And that goes back to what I was saying before about individuals. Hey, and that's a good point. And that goes back to what I was saying before. Come on, Hood Love. Let me see your face. I need to see that this is you. You gotta show me you, my brother. You can't just have a Hood Love emblem, and I'm just like, oh, that's Mikey. You could be a troll. Like I don't know who you is. Nah, Mikey's in the building, y'all.
I'm definitely a troll.
Yo,
peace, bro. What's up with y'all?
Peace, my brother. What's the deal, man?
I see y'all holding it down, man. I had to tap in. I didn't even know, yo. When y'all sent that to me, I was out of it. You heard?
Oh, you sleep?
I just ate, and I see y'all up here, so I just wanted to tap in with y'all. You know what I'm saying? You heard?
Yo, we asking the question tonight. You know what I mean? The question is asked. And just for the record, for individuals who don't know. So Mikey and everybody probably who's already in the chat does know, but those who don't know, Mikey B and I, KK and I, we all go back to when we was like kids. We did not physically meet each other. I did not physically get in Mikey B's presence until 2016 when we were both in Shawanga together, right? The first time we actually got that close to each other, right? We've always been separated in different jails and things like that. But Mikey B has always been my brother. And let me tell you what makes Mikey B and my relationship very unique, right? Is that I could disagree with Mikey and we disagree. Like the other night, Mikey, we was disagreeing all the way till we both said, "What? Peace, my brother. See you tomorrow," right?
Yeah.
Yo, so I might not always agree with Mikey and things in strategy, whatever he's going through, whatever I'm going through. We iron out whatever we need to iron out. But at the end of the day, it's still peace, my brother, right? So I think that's important. So we're having this conversation about true brotherhood, Mikey. Like, so what's based on your experiences, your upbringings, you know, where you're at this point of your life right now, like give a little backdrop. Like what do you define as true brotherhood?
What I define as true brotherhood is the first thing is love. Loyalty, solidness, and not in a street terminology type of way, but just solid of being near, of being a good companion, of being a good friend. These are all the things that make a good brother. A lot of times, coming from where we come from, our past and the streets and urban areas, we think of it more of a violence or from that perspective. But to be being a good brother or sister, I mean, when I say brotherhood or sister, it's the same thing with women as well. But it's just being firm, it's being a good companion. And you could share values, but then again, you don't have to share values. I think that's what really is. It starts with love. You got to love your brother. You got to love your sister. It starts with love, and it could be respect. It could be a lot of other things that come in there as well. But that's to me, the foundation of that is actually love and loyalty, because you might not like everything or agree, like you just now said, with everything that your brother or somebody do. But if that's your brother, then you're gonna love them. You're gonna try to guide them out of it. Like I said, showing you my lives, because we show our lives on YouTube. We actually showing you our lives.
Yeah.
And I learned that through hardships. I learned that through introspection. I learned that through tough times, what real love and real brotherhood was. So that's what it basically is for me. You know?
That's a good point. And I think, the crazy thing is, Mikey, man, we loved each other so hard. It was like we really, because our love was, I think Jose Montalvo said that, he was like, we were slaves in those prisons and never realized that we choose to put ourselves in those situations. And he said we was not educated enough as young men about those situations, what choose not to, end up in those situations. And the reality is this, though, right? We loved each other in a kind of strange way, right? It was love, but was it really love? Because let's just assume in this case, you did something that we all disagree with, that kind of went against the code of the lifestyle. It was like, damn, he ain't no longer my brother, right? And it was like, and let's talk about that. Like, is that love? Because we kind of was, it was kind of strange. I love you today, just behave yourself. So I kind of agree with that. Love is conditional. Do you guys agree with me?
Toxic. Is love conditional? Wow, I don't know. Go ahead, KK.
Yeah, it made me think about something. One of my brothers, who I consider my brother right now to this day, he's home, everything. And he was banging, whatever we both, but and he ended up being a plate, right?
Yeah.
And this was my twisted love, right? I'm like, I'm gonna kill up everybody, right? Don't touch him. I'm gonna take him out.
Because that's your brother.
Because that's my brother.
You're gonna do the honor.
Nobody gonna touch him. Nobody gonna touch him. I'm gonna take care of him.
Except me.
You touch him, I'm smoking you.
I'm the only one that has the right to shed his blood.
I'm the only one.
And you heard, crazy. KK, you know how many times?
That's crazy.
Yo, Moshe, you know how many times we have heard that though in prison?
But that's what I'm trying to say, Mikey. Like,
I got this.
No, you know what? That's me, because he from my hood. He from my neighborhood. He from E&Y. Nah, y'all from Queens. You can't touch him. That's me. That's my honor. I'll do the honor. And that's kind of
crazy. It was definitely toxic. It's a toxic type of love. But you gotta understand the conditions that we born from.
That's what Jose Montalvo's saying.
That's the whole thing. The conditions that we are born from makes our love, or until we really understand it, it makes our love grow in a crooked, mangled, disturbed perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I understand exactly what you're saying, bro.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's love, but it's like looks crazy. It doesn't. I mean, love. Y'all saying I don't think love is conditional. I do not think love is conditional. Real love is unconditional. I think we're trained to believe that love is conditional.
Okay.
True love is unconditional. If you really love your mother, your family, it's gonna be unconditional. If there is an asterisk, if I love you, but then I don't think it's really love. I don't think that personally. You know what I'm saying? I know we all got our own.
No. I mean, I like how you said that right there. Let me think about that. Maybe hold on. Let me see something.
Love with an asterisk? Is that really love? I mean, what you said, KK? You said it's not, right?
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Love with an asterisk, bro.
I see what you're saying.
You raise a child right now. Your child is born. Are you going to love your kid with an asterisk? Or
no.
Or you going to love your kid through whatever?
We're gonna love our kids through whatever. I no matter what, you're gonna love your kids, right?
But so that don't go for your brother though.
Nah, you're right.
That's our crooked, jagged shit.
No, you're right. I think it is jagged. Yeah. It's crooked.
Yeah.
And I think that along the way, right? And that's why I think this is an important conversation, because sometimes, your brother could come to you appearing to be your brother, and he's your enemy. And your enemy can come to you or your so-called enemy can come to you appearing as such, but he's your brother. So I mean, we've been in situations like that. How many times have we've lived under very interesting circumstances like that, where the police is starving dudes out in Southport, and you gotta share your food with your neighbor who all intents and purposes, nobody likes.
That's right.
So I think it depends, man. I think it's very, it depends. Every situation is a lot different. Y'all tune in to We Locked In. We having a conversation, man. Mikey B, KK Moshe, we here talking about brotherhood. You know what I mean? What is true brotherhood? I mean, like, what's really going on? I see some people put it in the in their comments in the chat. Nothing but the truth says. Same thing in the streets. Most listen to what I'm saying. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, my brother. And then Sean La said, true brotherhood also has to be rooted in the optimistic energy. I agree with that. I think that it's important that you got to have optimism and all that. But I don't know if that always has to be true. Can I be pessimistic too? Like, and you still be my brother, right? But that's just my opinion. I don't want to kind of like say that what you're saying is incorrect. I'm just kind of like giving you some pushback regarding that. All right, so let's just, since being home, Mikey, and spending so many years, spending over 25 years in prison. Now you're home. Now you're back in the town. You and KK, y'all both did all this time. We both did all this time. All three of us did this time. What has changed from y'all definition of brotherhood when you were running around Queens and upstate and all that versus now to you being the man that you are today? What is the difference between then and now? Do you still define brotherhood that way, or is it totally different?
So
Go ahead, Kay.
my definition is still the same. In a sense, this not the.
Kabir, I'm gonna put it in. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can pull up Abdul Kabir. Just make sure you hit this link when you come in. I'm gonna put it in the chat, my brother. Go ahead, KK. I apologize for cutting you off.
No problem, bro. I'm just not as radical. You know what I'm saying? As far as with the thinking of brotherhood, but now it's just really, I was more guarded in prison, I would say, right? As far as with my emotions is concerned. And now it's like being free. It's like the floodgates open. But so now it's like, hold on, I still have to be just as guarded though out here. You know what I'm saying? Like even more so. Because I was kind of, what I've seen since being home, I was kind of giving people the benefit of the doubt more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Just because they've been home and they've been doing it and certain things, but not really taking into account a lot of things that I actually look for. You know what I mean? Like, are you with the same thing I'm with? Do you have the same belief that I have? Do you have the same principles that I have? And I've been starting to see, like, some people don't that I actually do consider my brother, but at the end of the day is learning how to remove myself from it and still love those, at least the ones that are from a distance, you know, because it just shows like, all right, if you're really not about what I'm about, then I got to keep it moving. You know, there's no love or anything like that, but this is the particular path that I'm on. And if you're here, you're here. You're not. Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Ask me the question again, bro. I had it.
No problem. I was asking, so what is the difference between how you view leadership when you were younger
now, yeah,
versus the how you view brotherhood? I said leadership. I meant brotherhood.
Brotherhood, yeah.
Yeah, pardon me. How you view brotherhood then versus how you view brotherhood today? Your definition of it, shall I say?
My definition of brotherhood has totally changed.
And in what way?
I'm gonna get to it, but it has totally changed in 25 years. Before I went to prison, what I considered brothers was what I was doing with criminals in the street. We came at brotherhood from a street life perspective, from a gang perspective, from a street posse crew, drug dealing, robbing together, criminal element perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm on a family perspective. I want to say F the streets. Family rules, family values. This is the perspective I come from now. This is my perspective of brotherhood. This is my perspective of family. This is my perspective of friends. Before I went to prison, I had a family at home. I had a family that loved me, and I had a street family. Now all I have is one family. That's how I am now. So, in a nutshell, brotherly, what I considered brothers before is people that were crimies. Crimies, right? Crimies, people that you do crimes with, right? I don't do crimes no more, so I don't have crimies. I don't have those type of friends. You see what I'm saying? And those rules and that way of living got me 27 years of my life away from my family. The lion's share of my life is spent in prison. So of course they were no good for me.
So I was about to ask you. So were they your brothers?
You said were they my brothers then?
Yes.
Yeah, they were my brothers then. But like I said, then my perspective on brotherhood is different from it is now.
So is your brother gonna enable you to engage in behavior that could throw 27 years of your life away?
No. See, no, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying at that time I considered them brothers.
Copy.
At that time. Now, people that I don't consider nobody because I'm not doing no crimes. So I don't have crimies. I don't have street friends. I was in I work in a nonprofit organization, right? I have a friend. She is a 89-year-old white woman.
Yes.
She comes and talks to me all the time. She brings me gifts at work. And the people are like the other people I work with, the younger people, they're like, she like you. I said, yeah, she like me. I like her too. That's my friend.
Absolutely.
So that's my sister. She's 89 years old, a white woman, and she works. She knows she does some stuff in the community. She goes to community boards. We speak on that type of stuff. We always talk. You know what I'm saying? She's been sick. She's been sick for like a few weeks, so I couldn't really see her. And so that's the type of friends that I got now. People that's working in the community, people that's doing the right thing out here. That's my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I kind of
those are my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I kind of feel like, when we were running around the streets and stuff like that, we had a sick and demented definition of what brotherhood was. Now, granted.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me just give you an asterisk.
Copy. I already know. I kind of already know what you're gonna say. You're probably gonna say the same individuals that you ran the street with are probably still some of your friends today.
And some of them are my brothers. Because a lot of them, like myself, they changed their lives as well.
I know. I knew you were gonna say that.
A lot of them changed their lives as well. So when we went through this transition, and I'm truly glad that we didn't allow the streets to destroy our friendships and our families. Because some of these guys, I know they family like they know my family. We came out the house together.
Yo, Mikey B.
Yo.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just gonna think about what you were saying. And I think that's why I be kind of feeling like that down here, because being in Georgia, it's like I don't really know nobody down here. You know what I'm saying? And like y'all up there, and it's crazy because you see it. The same people y'all be around, really, it's the same people. Like
I hear that.
Either some of the guys
you went out.
Either some of the guys. I said some of this. Y'all have some of the same people that been with y'all since y'all was in prison, right? Around y'all.
Oh, before prison too.
Yeah, and before prison. And with me, it's like being down here. It's a different. A lot of my closest companion is in New York. You know what I'm saying? It's in New York, New Jersey. So now, like when I came down here, it was mainly just family. Me just being around family and really getting to know family all over again. But Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. But
wa alaikum salam.
Just being blood or just being relative don't really make you family. You know what I'm saying? And they can get you in just as much trouble as anybody else.
But one thing I learned, for people not giving up on me, even when I was on my nonsense in my life, is that we need all hands on deck, bro. We need all hands on deck. We need and it took a while. Like, out of my 25 years, I did it took me about 20 years to turn my life over.
I agree.
And my family stuck with me, and my friends and y'all, and the bros like Kabir. Kabir never was in a gang, but Kabir been my brother for years. Always pull me up. Like, yo, Mo, we was all in me, you, and Kabir was in Shawanga together, but me and Kabir was in Attica together. We was in a few jails together. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I met Kabir as a Muslim, and I was a blood. He's big, he's high in the Muslim community. I was high ranking in the homies, and we had a relationship for years. But
no, that's true, and I know that
we
based
can't
on
give up
that,
on
and
each
you
other,
got to
bro.
remember, and one thing about like where we come from, where we all came from, we kind of all can relate to that environment. So we know that if Mikey B and Kabir over there in Attica and B Block together, we kind of know that, even though we're not together, we know that you guys are over there together, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of say, yo, yeah, Mikey over there, Kabir, Muslim Kabir, he's over there too, that type of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
and you guys have a different relationship. Y'all were able to kind of build a relationship over the course of years in prison. So Kabir, Abdul Kabir, this is the brother who I was making reference to. Salaam alaikum, ya akhi.
Wa alaikum salam.
And I was just speaking about you in terms of how when I met you physically for the first time in 2016. I mentioned it's funny how with Mikey, KK, and even yourself, I feel like I already knew you guys like all of my bid, but finally got a chance to meet you guys in the flesh. So finally getting a chance to meet you in 2016, I was sharing with the listeners out there how you proved to be my brother, not only in Islam, but you proved to be my brother because I can't even count how many times you were there to give me the wisdom that I needed to guide me aright. And you was right there by Allah's permission. You was like, Musa, Allah would be displeased with this. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, this is how he would conduct himself in that circumstances. So today's topic, as you've been listening, my brother, is called What's True Brotherhood? Now, obviously, as the elder here, you probably have a wealth of knowledge and wisdom that you could bestow upon us all. So with that backdrop, give us a little bit of your understanding of what brotherhood is from your perspective, from your experience.
Well, first and foremost, alhamdulillah, we have to always look at what the Prophet Muhammad SAW said brotherhood was. And he clenched his hands together and he told the man, he said, to pull it apart. And the man said, I can't, Rasulullah. And he said, this is what brotherhood is, right? It's a structure that's built upon one another. And he's saying the best companion you can have is one that reminds you of good. A great deal of time when you are away, or even in the streets now, a great deal of time, you have the people who engage in the whispers. And the whispers are the reminders of the devil. So they engage you in that because they wanted to get you on the same type of time that they're on. Even if it was something in the yard, simple as a guy trying to press upon another guy to squeeze him for whatever. Another person to try to get you on that with him because he wants to get something out of that. It didn't matter what it was, whether it was $50, $100, whatever the case may be. So now you have to ask yourself, did he use you as a puppet and find you as a lost fool, or did he use you as his brother? Because your brother wouldn't have done that. Because one of the things that every group that I found when I was in prison was that they was against oppression. But if they was against oppression, then they would be against the things that they had done, because everybody that was involved in being hurt, harmed, or engaged in some form of modern day genocide looked like them. I don't care where you was at. You understand? And this is just a reality check that everyone that is in this, they would do such a thing. And when y'all know, when I was behind the wall, and I would tell brothers, don't mess with the Muslim. Don't mess with the Muslim. And I say that because why? We could look at the Bible, we could look at the Quran, we could look at the Torah and anything else. But there's a brotherhood amongst the Muslim that makes that blood sacred. Even if you had a non-Muslim brother, your brother can't even bury you because he has no right over you. But the Muslim does. And once that person took their situation together, and I done went to a lot of the brothers that was big homies, said, listen, brother wanted to step away from this here. He wanted to get his mind right. He wanted to get his life right. And a lot of brothers, man, I don't want to mention their names, but they know who they are. And I got nothing but the biggest respect for them. And I'm sure they have the biggest respect for me. And they said, that's what I question me. Go ahead and give them that pass. But the reality is that was your brother because he realized that it was time for your journey to end there and move on here. And these are the things that we have to remind one another, because we could get all these philosophical statements, but the Quran is the foundation of the Muslim. The Sunnah is the foundation of the Muslim. And the way we live in every group, mind you, I was OG Mac's neighbor when this thing first started. Mind you, I know Mandu. These are my guys. I know Jab. I know Wolf. The list go on. Libram, you name it. Skull, Eli, the whole faction, man. I know all of these guys. For real. I done ate octopus with them and rice. Watch them get their first gray hair. Watch them lose hair. Say, man, I'm about to shave all this off. And every one of them, even down to whether it was Latin King, whatever the case may be, Rat Hunters, Continental, Kabaya was my guy. I used to write letters for him. I know Junior. You know what I mean? I know Maximo. The same guys that, guys be saying, oh, well, yeah, this is my man. No, you know him on paper. I know him in person. I know the Dirty Reds. I know Blancos. All of these guys. And I always carried myself as a Muslim, and they respected that, and they respected the position that I took.
Did you consider, because we know that there's a different definition Islamically about brotherhood, but did you consider those individuals, because we all went through similar circumstances, being confined behind the wall, that there was a form of brotherhood even under those circumstances?
Absolutely. The entity in itself, me and Mandu used to cook together. He used to make this fancy pasta. This is when he was studying all types of sciences and everything else, Kemet sciences and all that, me and Lod, bro, like we used to just like really go through it with mad different concepts and everything, man. So these brothers here, like, I was able to sit down with Double R and just go through our minds together about businesses and putting things together and say, listen, we need to have this. So much to the point that there was a time that we actually had a room that was the peace room. This was the war room. And we all would sit down amongst each other and have this conversation as brothers, not as enemies. The enemies was on the yard. The nonsense was on the yard. But we was in this room on a round table as brothers. We did the same thing in Clinton. They put me in a box, gave me a year and a half. I got back to the block. All of a sudden, I'm up in Taylor shop, and they come and get me and say they got a knife in my cell and gave me 18 months. And they took me and Latin King Trigger, and next thing I know, we sitting there, and everybody got 5% got 6 months. And I consider these my brothers. They was just brothers on a different entity, on a different plane, but they wanted for their entity good. It was the same way just in Syracuse. I drove up there. You remember I drove up there, Syracuse, and I told Mikey B, this was my guy. I remember Mikey before he got married, everything. Shout out to the missus. You know what I mean? This is my guy.
Shout out to Shayna.
What's up? Yeah, I had wanted to say something real quick too, because a lot of brothers, I seen some of the comments, and even the one we got up now about openness, right? And brotherhood. One of the things though, because somebody else put in the comments that he had got jumped for spitting on the floor, right? But one of the things though I wanted to mention to that is accountability.
I was going to say that. I'm glad you touched on that.
Like being a brother of brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever. Your brother is gonna hold you accountable. I mean, and this is something that we tend to overlook and not take as serious as we should. So if you know someone that you consider your brother and he's not doing what he's supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to hold him accountable. I'm saying you're supposed to. And our young thinking, and I thought back to the comment we spoke about earlier, and I was like, nobody gonna touch the dude, I got him. And our young thinking, that was, it was a little off, but at the same token, it was in the right type of spirit though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like, just like when you mention a child, that's when we think about it. It's like your child, you'll love your child, but your child got out of line and start bugging. You know what I'm saying? You may have to pat him on his booty. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, pop, yo, what's up? I mean, but it's the same thing as we get older. We tend to avoid that, or we tend to want to keep our mouths closed and not say nothing when we know our brother is going down the wrong route. You know what I'm saying, and doing the wrong things, and it's just we'll shake our head, talk to somebody else about it, but not actually step to him. You know what I'm saying? Pull him up. You know what I'm saying? And even challenge him. You know what I'm saying? And even challenge him about that. You know?
I think, and that's a great point. And I know that, and for our listeners out there, you got to forgive us a lot of times how we are able to kind of make the correlation between how we're living our lives now versus when we were incarcerated. And again, we're not glorifying the fact that we spent time in prison. And I need to state this as a disclaimer so nobody gets the impression that we're up here somehow gloating at the fact that we spent, you know, a quarter century and more in prison. And I think that would be just foolish. But what we do is we say, listen, a significant percentage of our lives were spent in prison. So we have these stories to kind of use them as cautionary tales and things like that. And I think where a lot of individuals went wrong, based on the accountability piece that you just made reference to, KK, is that nobody was willing to hold anyone accountable no more. It was as if it's not all right if your so-called brother is doing wrong and you know he's doing wrong. It's all right for you to say, yo, listen, your actions are causing us a lot of harm. It's destructive. It's going to bring about us a much more greater harm. And I remember having this conversation with Magoo. I remember having this conversation with Radig. I remember having this conversation with La Brim. I remember having a conversation with all of these individuals, right? Elo, all of them, right? And I remember saying to myself, like, yo, you guys are my brothers, right? And one thing we should never take for granted is the people who are in our lives, because my mother always told me this. This is a story I'm gonna share with you when I could come back to my point. My mother would be walking up Stanley Avenue in East New York, and she would see me on the corner of Stanley and Skank in East New York on the Ave with individuals, out there doing stuff we ain't had no business doing, yelling, screaming, rolling dice. You know the stuff in the hood. Every neighborhood has it, right? And my mother would call me over. If she's walking on the opposite side of the street, she would see me, she would call me over. And on more than one occasion, she did this to me. And I remember her, saying to me, Moshe, let me ask you a question. And I'm like, what's up, Ma? She's like, what is the reason you have all those guys around you? And I'm like, they my friends. Like, why not? You know what I mean? She's like, they're not your friends. That was the first thing she always wanted me to understand, right? But then she used to say to me, those individuals are in your life because they're either afraid of you or they can gain something from you. Is anybody over there going to hold you to account for the wrong that you're doing? You're out here on the corner. You're doing Allah knows what. And is anybody on that corner right now going to tell you you should not be on that corner doing what you're doing? And I used to always tell my mother, nah, Ma. So why are you hanging with the people over there if they're not going to encourage you to do what's right? That's the point I want to make, right? I want to bring it up, right? Fast forward to now, I'm in prison with individuals who have influence over their respective crews. And I used to always be saying to myself, I would be doing myself a disservice if I'm saying that I'm your brother, but I'm not holding you to account. So I used to, reach out to individuals and say, yo, we are literally struggling as a people, and you're in the position to help make things better. If you don't help correct these things, a number of things are going to happen. Our youth who follow what we do are going to continue. It's going to get worse. That's number one. Number two is we're going to mislead a generation of individuals, and it's going to make it that much more harder for them to get out of the problems that they're confronted with if we can help change it for the better. Another thing is what's going to happen is that people are going to start getting indicted. because of this senselessness that's taking place. We got to stop it now. And now that's not to Ra's point. That's not how I address Ra. Me and Ra have a different relationship. But I address these individuals on that level to say, listen, your brother is going to hold you to account and demand what's best for you. If your brother is not going to do that, if the person in your life is not going to hold you to account and demand what is best for you to prevent harm from reaching you, then surely that's not your brother. Then surely that is not your brother. I know you guys got something to say about that. I see Kabir, he looks ready. He looks ready to go. KK, Mikey, I know y'all got the ad on that. What's up? Talk to me.
If I may, I remember us having these conversations. I remember you, Mo, and KK remember these things too. I used to tell brothers, I said, if the Ock act up, we're gonna give him some back pocket therapy, right? Because he has to do right. And you have to be accountable. If I'm gonna make myself accountable in a place where I can flourish on any level that I want to, and I choose not to follow the devil, then you're gonna definitely check you. And we're gonna make sure you check you, because if you don't, we're gonna check you. And you know, y'all know the rumors, cats talking about, oh, well, we done got lashes and this, that, and the third. You know, yeah, for real. And there's times I done went to, you know, the fellas, man, you know, homies, and be like, listen, man, I need you to call your man to account. You know, and it's numerous times. The Goose my guy, man. You know, he's my guy, Frank, White, all of them. Like, I know these guys forever. You know, and I wish them nothing but the best. You know, these guys that I consider my brother in the struggle, man. But they would call guys to account, because it was important that if you violated something, it was your obligation to be brought up on that. That violation can't be, you know, my dad said, you know, you don't understand what it is until you taste what it feel like to have blood in your mouth. And sometimes a person has to be dealt with. Some, you know, you're not gonna let your child just go and burn their hand and not chastise them. That's a careless parent. And we as men, or young men at the time, not gonna let someone just blow things for us by being careless. Because every time we done that, we seen the outcome. And you don't have to be blood related to remind a person of that. And that's just the truth. And every time I see y'all, man, I tell y'all, I'm proud of you. You know, whether it's you, whether it's KK, whether it's Mikey, and the rest of the fellas, man. And that's why when I went up there, first thing I told Mike, I said, I could not leave town without seeing you, man.
Facts.
You know?
That's right. That's right, bro. But
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie though, Mo. This is a great topic, and I was just thinking about it. Just works so many different ways. Like even going to my parole hearing, preparing myself for my parole hearing, right?
Yeah.
You know, you basically tell your life story to the parole board. If you don't go that in depth, you're not going home.
Facts.
How'd you got into violence? How'd you get into the streets? What was your childhood like? All these things show our perspective on brotherly love, on brothers, on how we love and how we were raised. And one of the funny things about, you know, my raising and a lot of even my day ones, my friends, we all fought when we were young. We fought each other. You know what I'm saying? And I see that play out a lot, even on with arguments and stuff on YouTube. Like you said, in prison, we seen that a lot with guys, you know, going back and forth with each other, and these are supposed to be your brothers. But I think that's just like a bad, skewed, toxic relationships that we had and how we were raised, bro.
Yeah.
So that's like I said, I always tell I learned how to love while I was in prison. I didn't even know. And don't get me wrong, you know, you say you love your family and you believe that you do, but all your acts are saying the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I love my mom, I love my sister and all that. But you going out, you know, acting crazy in your community, doing everything to go to prison and to be away from your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have a way about that. I used to question myself and say, "Damn, did I really love my family the way that I thought I did when I was only thinking about my own selfish way to put money in my pocket? Did I really love them like that to just leave them out there alone by themselves? Like, did I really love them like that?" And I had that. That was one of the hardest questions for me to ask myself because I was selfish. I was
Yeah.
freaking selfish. And I'm like, yo, like I was selling drugs. I was robberies. It was like, yo, bro, like I knew I could either get killed or I could end up getting life in prison or spend the amount of time I ended up spending in prison or more. Who knows, right? But how could I really love when I'm harming in the same breath? So I think this is a very good conversation, and it has underlining tones for other connected, interconnected type of things as well. Although we're talking about brotherhood, it could be related right to your family,
Yeah.
could be related to your moms and your siblings and and
But
stuff like that, right?
I think the best way though, the best view of our love is from the family first. We learn that from the family, we get it from the family. Like, I was a bad dude, but looking how my family supported me and held me down through all of those times for me to be back here. Without them, I probably would never made it back. You see what I'm saying? Without my friends, a lot of my brothers, 25 years helping me, talking to me, yo, get your life, don't stop that. Like y'all said, checking me when I needed to be checked, speaking to me, and multiple times for years. Like, you still doing that, you still doing the gang stuff. Like, yo, what's up, bro? When you gonna fall back? When you gonna retire? When you gonna come home? It got to a point like some of my friends, they thought I was crazy. They actually thought I didn't want to come home. But saying that to say, you gotta check, like you said, you have to check certain things that your brother does, but
That's
turning
that
your back,
accountability.
that's accountability. But
Yeah.
turning your back shouldn't be one of them, because if that's your friend and you love them, then you're gonna ride with them, but you're not gonna just ride with your eyes closed, like, all right, let them crash and burn. You're gonna let them crash out. So you're gonna try to keep pulling them up and making sure they doing what's right. You really love them.
Yeah, and that's how it was when I was younger. My youngest my youngest brother, who was killed tragically in 2005 in a car
Appreciate
accident.
it.
Shout out to G Up Quinn. Thank you, man, for the donation. We truly appreciate that. Thank you for
No.
your support, your love, man. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, man. So my one of my responsibilities as a young one was to watch my youngest brother. He was 5 years younger than me, and he was like my shadow. But he had a very, very bad habit of just getting away from me when I didn't, because I was caught up in my own selfish stuff, and I had a bad habit of not watching him the way that I should have. So I agree with you, Mikey, because even though you hold your brother accountable, if your brother is about to face some harm, you protect him. Protecting your brother is a part of, whether right or wrong, you're protecting your brother, right?
Facts.
That's your brother. You protect him. I think what happened with us was that we went to protecting our brothers, even if it meant us harming ourselves. I think we went to the extreme with
And other
harming
brothers.
our brothers, because we remember that
And
we
our
were
families.
in prison, right?
Yeah,
In a
and our
very
family.
toxic, abnormal environment, and we were willing to get time. Look at this, man. And I don't think people understand this.
Well,
We were willing to go to an environment where you would lock yourself in a cage for 23 hours in a day, where you would subject yourself to living like that. Many of us did. We spent years under these conditions because you said that you had love for your brother, even if your brother was wrong. And in many instances, the same brother who you did that for went home and you never heard nothing from ever again.
well,
So, I'm lying.
Sure.
So I think now this doesn't take away your intentions, because we judge based on our intentions, right? So good, right? Your intention is good, but when is being a good loyal brother harmful for you when you're harming yourself? Like when do you say, oh, I don't want to do that no more. I learned my lesson now. Like when do you have the leverage to be able to say, nah, I'm not doing that no more. Like, and still you can still be my brother. Is that still impactful, or you just relinquish being the man's brother because you just don't want to engage in senselessness no more? Like, help me answer that, y'all.
I believe that you start to do a reflection. I think all of us that are here had a time of reflecting. It's like Mikey B. When Mikey B said that he went to the parole board and he knew in order for him to be released, he had to tell them the truth. And they was gonna spot it whether it was a lie or the truth. You know, when Shayna came into Mikey B life, Mikey B changed. And she brought a certain atmosphere that made him different. When Saweetie came into my life, I changed. When Mooka came to your life, you changed. When KK was getting his mail and everything, and he was telling me about how he was ready to move to Atlanta and he's gonna be married and all this other stuff and showing me stuff, he changed. But there was a quality of the women. We wasn't looking at the quantity, we was looking at the quality, because we had already started to do it in irrespective of ourselves, a retrospection. And I'm watching KK regularly. He getting his mail. He ain't even open the mail up at the cell. He opened the mail up in the mosque. He said, man, I remember you, Mo, you get your little tight shirts and you get your candy, and take a shot early in the morning. You just ready. And you feeling real good. And I said, this is my brother. And you and Mooka go back to patty cake days, hopscotch and all that. It's like, here we are, man. And we out here. It's like Mikey told the story a couple weeks ago. He said, this is what 100 looked like. This is us. This is us. Like, can't nobody take that from us. Forget the time. We did the time. I did 32 years, 7 months, and 5 days. Can't take the time. It was the quality that we had to put in this. I remember when we first started college, Mo, you said, big, man, I go to school outside. I said, no, you not. We going to school right now. You was like, but man, I don't know. I said, we going to school right now, Mo. And next thing you know, you said, well, we're gonna have to take classes every day. We took 5 classes. That was 15 credits.
That level of accountability is important, because you held me to account. I remember when Mikey got caught up in the situation down there with, he went off on a freaking, Mikey's just crazy. Check it out. I'm walking in the hallway. He's coming from a hearing. So I was already mad at him. He knows. If he didn't know, he knew when I saw him, right? But it was the look of, I hope you get out of this predicament. What the hell was you thinking? And I need to talk to you, man. You know what I mean? It was one of them looks like, it was all of it. It was like, one of them looks like, damn, you kind of give it all like, damn, bro. Like, but I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I love that, there is the relationship between all of us, because I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail. Did you guys see the thing I put up real quick? Hold on, let me.
I think so, yeah.
All right,
yeah,
so
you get real good at this, man.
Hold on. I'm able to hope I'm able to kind of get it up there. All right.
Yeah, I see it right now.
You see it, right? Look, so I just want to point all these I'm sharing, and I know you guys can see.
Go up and enlarge that.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard for me to enlarge it, because I shrunk it intentionally so that I can get everybody in, but I'm gonna enlarge it, right? I'm gonna try to and the more I enlarge it, I lose the kind of pictures in it, right? So this right here on the left, this is me and Abdul Khabir at the Id in Binghamton, New York, right? The day of the Id, where my wife, his daughters, his granddaughter, we all spent our time together, right? Under that picture is Will and I at an event. Under this is myself and Everlast, right? So mind you, Will came to an event. I mean, invited me to an event that was by Abdul Kabir from out of Hackensack, and they doing the Project Build thing from Exodus, and we speaking about gangs, we speaking about all this. So this is right after Will was like released. So this is his first speaking engagement. I was invited there, right? Under that, I'm giving an event in East New York, where for my sister's first annual winter drive in her honor. This is Everlast right here, you guys. I got his hoodie in my hand and his books in my hand. These is individuals who we met. Look at this. Look at this relationship. I did this intentionally. Me and Kabir met each other in prison. Me and Will met each other in Shawang in prison. Me and Ev met each other in Elmira. Down here, this is me and Ray Wash at Ray Wash's, who I met through Mikey B, who Mikey B and I met in prison. Right here, this is me, Rich, who Rich Dollars from out of Long Island. Shout out to Rich Dollars and the strong foundation, the strong organization, and the work that they're doing out there with them brothers out there in Long Island. Them kids out there is killing each other. This Saturday, we had an event out there in Hempstead where we took over 40 kids to watch the Wakanda Forever. I'm gonna say kids, 40 youth to watch the Wakanda Forever movie. And for whatever reason, I out of the picture is Tyson from Urban Ink magazine. It's me, him, and Rich right here. These is individuals who did time in the feds. Rich, who we met later on because he was a part of CPEP, which is Cornell Prison Education Program. Again, we met in the streets, but prison. Right up under here is myself and Abdul Kabir, who I met in prison. Right here, under here is Abdul Malik, who has life without the possibility of parole. This is my Sahaba. This is Abdul Kabir. This is KK. This is our Sahaba right here. This is an individual who is our companion. He has life without the possibility of parole. So they want him to die in jail, right? Under this is me and Pee-wee. Me and Pee-wee, who we met in prison. Me and Pee-wee had the opportunity of speaking to a bunch of gangbangers, the little young homies out there in Sheepshead Bay, right? Me, him, and Meth, who was La Brim co-defendant. This was last year. This is me and my man Alex, who I met in Green Haven, who the police set him up with a weapon, right? I mean, with a handcuff key. This right here is my brothers, my nephew, my uncle. My nephew's my biological brother, my father's brother. This right here, y'all can't see the picture, but this is Wag. This is Wag right here, y'all. Right? This right here is the event we just went through on Saturday. This right here is my brother-in-law, Shatik. Shout out to my brother Shatik. I love you, man. Inshallah, see you tomorrow. This is Shaq. This is Shaq from East New York, one of the first nine hats. This is G Brim right here with Finster. And who you don't see in the photo is Mikey B, who ran across the. Mikey, you remember what you did when we all took this photo? Me, Mel Cross.
I photobombed it. I got like a few of the photos. I photobombed it.
You came in, photobombed the show, the thing, and then at the bottom is me and KK. Bumped into KK up in the city. Me and KK. So now the reason why I wanted to show all this to say I'm gonna stop sharing right now, you guys, is to show brotherhood, right? And when we talk about brotherhood, majority of the people in this right here, you guys, I met y'all in prison. And look at where we're at right now. We're still keeping our relationships tight, our bonds tight. Mikey B, Kabir just went up to Watertown and drove to Syracuse to see Mikey B. Me and my wife and my family during Ramadan, not last Ramadan, we up in Binghamton. I called Mikey. Mikey like, what? I'm driving over there now. It's like an hour away. He drives from Syracuse to Binghamton, right? Mikey B link up. Mikey KK down south. Boom, boom, boom. Him and Mikey, y'all met in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Don't forget he ate on the food too.
So we pulled right up. I pulled right up. And we was outside together too.
Huh?
We was outside together too. You muted KK. You muted KK.
Oh yeah. We was out. Yeah, we was outside.
We was outside too.
Oh.
Yo, but you see my point.
Don't forget Mikey ate all sweeter food.
Mikey B, during Ramadan, he ain't even fast, but he just still came over and ate.
Nah, it's funny, Joe. I was just thinking about the day when I got to New York. I'm coming to Brooklyn. Where in Brooklyn? Where? I'm going way out there. Let's go.
Yeah. Yo, as soon as
the street, we pulled over the street.
All the women.
You said your wife said what? What could be?
When are y'all inviting all of the women that stood with us on this show to turn it all the way up?
Come on, they always got a platform.
Nah, you're right.
Come on, listen. If we get the wives to start pulling up here, we might not have a show no more. They might only want to hear the women now. Yo, they might take our show, man. They might take our show. They got too much stuff.
Here you go.
Hey, what's up, sis?
Hey, what's up, sis? How you been?
Hey.
Yo, listen. I'm telling you, if they took over the show, we won't have a show.
Yes, we got on big screen now. They holding a whole niqab halakha in there.
Yo, I guess the point that I'm making is that, and I don't sis. I know you watching, sis, and I love you, fist to be laugh for the sake of Allah. Listen, we're gonna definitely organize that by Allah's permission. We're gonna get you guys up on here, and y'all can just have full reign. I actually asked Mikey this. I said, "Yo, Mike, shouldn't the sisters when they come up here, they could just kind of just run the show and like that?" So,
yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be great. That'd be outstanding. So,
wait for that.
Oh man, I would love that. I think it's important, man, to the listeners out there, man. Everybody has their own definitions of what brotherhood is, right? And we appreciate everybody that has given us some feedback regarding that. Whatever your experiences is, nobody up here can't tell you what brotherhood is from your experiences, as you can't tell me my definition. We all have our opinions, and I think that that's important. I have my opinions based on my experiences, but as a Muslim, I also could, as Abdul Khabir did, we can define it based on from an Islamic standpoint. And in my life, that is what supersedes that of anything else for that matter, right? So, but I want you guys to understand how important this panel is, because we met each other in prison. We did not know each other when we were in the streets doing Allah knows what. We met each other in a very abnormal environment where relationships, for all intents and purposes, building solid relationships and burning bridges was the norm. Just so you guys are aware of this. Burning bridges in prison is a toxic, it's something that happens on a regular.
Yeah.
Because prison is a toxic environment. So it's expected that we're not going to be out here building and elevating ourselves and our families being together. That wasn't expected. It's not supposed to be like that, according to the way things are operating in prison. And I used to always say this, Mike. I used to be like, listen, y'all be very careful, because you never know, man. The bridge you burn today, you may need to walk over it tomorrow. All this beefing and all that, yo, Sasa, y'all dudes, listen now. Y'all play with the wrong folk. Be careful, because this thing can get different quick. Yeah. And look how close everybody is to each other now. That, I think that is, in my opinion, it speaks to a level of brotherhood that is very important, and it needs to be shared with others so people can appreciate just how important these relationships are. A couple of weeks ago, I just went out to dinner with Alex Duran, Marcelino Rodriguez, a bunch of individuals who were incarcerated. Sky Williamson, who just got clemency from Governor Cuomo a few years ago. He did about 27 years in prison, about 30 years in prison, and he's out now. We were all out eating dinner. Now, mind you, we're sitting there, and these are now current CEOs of our own respective companies. We're in leadership positions in either for-profit or non-profit organizations, right? We are all either college graduates, individuals who either have their associates, their bachelor's, their master's degrees, individuals who are in pursuit of their PhDs. This is all at dinner, Mikey and Bear. We're all sitting at the table looking at each other like, yo, this is crazy. All of us came home from prison except for one individual. I said, this is truly remarkable. And we need to really, and then like a week later or 2 weeks later, I'm at another event that was hosted by Cornell at the Cornell Club in Manhattan, where individuals that are being honored are individuals like Scott Williamson, who did over close to 30 years in prison. Like, so this is just because we were incarcerated doesn't mean that we had to be the worst of the worst. Although we were at some point kind of crazy and wild, but we still were able to build some solid relationships that have stood the test of time. So I'm thankful that our relationships were able to extend beyond that toxic environment, and we have what we have now. Alhamdulillah. That's by the mercy of Allah.
Well, I definitely appreciate all y'all. I don't think I be understanding how much I be needing y'all.
Absolutely.
I be feeling like, bro, I be
facts.
Like, feeling alone sometimes. Like,
that's what it is.
We take on the world. Like, I got it. But it's like, nah, you need your brother, man. You know what I mean? In this world, especially in this day and age, man, know the importance of a real brother.
Yo, sometimes we don't even. Sometimes, yo, Kate, sometimes I don't even be. Me and Kabir don't even be believing it sometimes. Like we be man, we be so hyped every day, yo. Man, we be praying, man. Me and Bear pray anyway. Me and Bear prayed. We prayed on a Brooklyn street at high noon one day, right? On the street corner, right? This is how crazy it is. We couldn't get to the mosque. We prayed on the street corner at high noon.
you and the brother that you met, the Muslim brother one of the bikers that we had in the video, y'all prayed at the video shoot.
We prayed at the video shoot.
I got pictures of that. That's I was holding y'all down out there, but I got pictures of you and the brother. You had just met him. He didn't know you was Muslim, and y'all prayed right there at the video shoot.
Mike Meek, man, and I love the fact that, man, we were able to have so many different variations of our relationships. It kind of extends in so many different levels. It goes out. If it's anything that people out there learn, man, is that you don't burn bridges, man. You never know what tomorrow may bring. We don't have those answers. If you are able to kind of like reconcile any differences with individuals from your past, I would encourage everybody out there like to reconcile. For instance, I could put this out there. So, me and one of my brothers was not speaking, and this is my biological brother, and I felt bad because 2 weeks ago I heard a khutbah, and the khutbah, the imam is talking about reconciliation between those who you love, your family members, and how sometimes family members, because they have relationships with you and stuff like that, it can hurt so bad when you two or more are at odds with each other. It's like for whatever reason, family, they know you so well, they can say something, they can do something, and it hurts so much, and you take it more personal than you would if a dude was shooting at you in the streets. And this led to my brother and I not speaking. So I'm in the masjid listening to the khutbah. And like I said last week during my discussion with you guys, when you hear khutbah, the khutbah is not about Kabir. It's not, although it is. You're supposed to kind of like single it out. The imam is talking directly to you because we all have flaws and we need to be reminded of what our obligations are. So he's talking about reconciling differences with your family. And I knew, I said, damn, after the khutbah, I told my wife, I said, I got to call my brother. She was like, yeah, you do. Because she's always telling me, every time I don't do what she tell me to do, something goes wrong in my life. So she's telling me, yeah, you need to, for the sake of Allah, yeah, you have to do that. It's not, you don't have an option to get out of that. You got to do that. You know what I'm saying? And if you have any differences with anybody who's close to you, especially individuals who you consider your brother, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. Everybody is going to taste death. 100 years from now, everybody that's probably here, and Allah knows best, will not be here. We'll all be dead, each and every one of us. You know what I'm saying? So life is short. If you can reconcile. Sit down with the person who you're at odds with. If you need to have a third party present, then do it. But like walk away with your heart like clean and pure of the burden of not dealing with somebody over your ego. I think one of the brothers put it in the chat about your ego. The ego is what will prevent you from from reconciling with somebody, and you never know. The person could be gone tomorrow. And wearing that for the rest of your life is something I don't think that I mean personally, I don't want to wear that. Because Allah says in the Quran, to the translation that is to tie, keep the ties together. Do not sever the ties of the womb. Don't sever the ties of the womb. Keep it tight. We all come from the wombs of our mothers. We all come from the wombs of our mothers. And it can be traced back to those who preceded us. So, oh my God, I can't believe I just got this text, man. Damn, man, Darius just hit me with some really bad news, man. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. And we're just talking about this, and I just got a text, man, that somebody just lost their sister. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. So life is short, you guys. Life is short. I know we've been here almost 2 hours. I'm gonna pass it around. I'm gonna pass it around. If you guys got anything you want to say before we close out, man, the floor is yours.
Hit that like button, share, hit that notification bell. Send things going. But no, man. Just seeing that, this the topic I wanted to just put out and what it actually sparked. And I hope the people that was actually watching y'all share this and it sparks something in y'all, man. It means to challenge not just yourselves, but challenge your brothers, your sisters too. To be better. Be the one that holds them accountable. Be that one. Don't just say somebody else is not doing something or somebody else is doing something. Be the one that makes it happen. You know what I'm saying? Be the one that actually take action. I was seeing that a lot in the chat, though, just about action. So be that one. Be that one to take action, man. Find it in you. You be the good brother. You know what I'm saying? A good sister. And that subconsciously allow others to actually feel free enough to do it themselves and hopefully follow suit. That, man, Kabir, you got something before we go out?
Oh, just something short. First, knowing that Darius is someone that Musa grew up with, and obviously there was a passing. We say from Allah he came into Allah he returned. That his sister, whoever it may have been, and we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to the deen and make their burden easy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean.
As far as when we look at brotherhood, we have to always give what is right to brotherhood. And we have to let a person know that sometimes what we consider accountability could be stupid ignorance. That we don't call accountability setting your brother up or ordering him to be cut or shot in the street because you didn't like how he didn't move the way that you move. Let it be for something that has purpose. Let it be for something that is right. Let it be for something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us in Quran or he has told us in the Sunnah. Because I remember telling brothers at one time, I said, they give me a chance to walk on the other side of the wall. I said, the same way I walk in this wall, I'm going to walk outside this wall. I just hope I walk better. And by Allah's permission, I've been afforded that, And like Mo said, we used to be together every day. Mike, you know that. Every day. You see me, you see Mo. You see Mo, you see me.
Yeah.
Or he knew where I was at. KK be like, where y'all going tonight? We like, we go in the yard. You already know. We going to get on the phone, And this is what we did every day. School, workout, whatever. We was together. You know what I'm saying? If it was food, he was eating, I was eating. This is brotherhood. The day I got released out of Jersey, that next day, he came and picked me up and brought me home with my wife and had my little sister with him. And they sat in the back and we sat in the front. The first place we stopped at was at the masjid. And I always want him to know I thank him for that. And right to this day, we work together right now. He's my supervisor. And he said, listen, I need to bring you on. But he built a team of people he knew that was his brothers that would make this thing happen and shine the way it shines. And we just did our first move, and the whole organization is like, the guy might move. But you know who was moving that chess piece? Mo was. Said, I told y'all. So when we look at brotherhood, sisterhood, it's based on genuineness, based on love. Don't be blowing kisses at my sister, Musa, while you're on air.
He's silly, man.
And no, man, I love you, bro. I love you, Mike. I love you.
Love you too, bro. You already know.
My brothers, man.
That's right.
You know,
I love you more, my brother.
Take this to hide, Mikey.
Yo, what's up, Mike?
And I eat all my white food up.
Let's get some of your wisdom, man.
Bro, just being a grown man, mature, family values. These are the things that I live my life by now. And as men, as women, especially as grown men, as we are. And for the people that's listening, sometimes you got to just realign yourself. You got to realign your aims. You got to do introspection. It's not always on the outside. It's what's they say the hardest fights are the ones fought in the mind and heart against your own self. Not what anybody else can tell you, not what anybody else can do. Just know, because sometimes, as youths, as kids, we don't know what we're doing. We're doing things every day, but we don't actually know what we're doing. We don't know, the factors, the ripple effects of our acts on our own life, the future of our lives, the future of other families and the people, that we're doing these things to. So, and sometimes, we gotta be held accountable. And our brothers, our sisters, anybody that we feel that, are these people in our lives, they should hold us to account. We should hold each other to account, and we should continue. Because the only reason why we're here now, you see what Kabir just said, you see what Mo just said. We were going to these programs and we were doing a lot of this stuff. We did a lot of this work before we got here. We went to college. I've been to college. I didn't get a degree like my brother Mo did, but I was in college as well in prison. And I did a lot of self-study and I did a lot of programs. I did a lot of, me and Kabir used to go to Exodus every week. So we've seen each other around the facility, but we didn't see each other in the problem areas all the time. The yard. We've seen ourselves in all the areas where good things happen at, like these brothers is in the mosque. I'm in roster services. We're in ACAO executive board meetings. We're in classes, all different kind of classes, writing, language. Just know who your friends are, know your relationships, and love your people unconditionally. And sometimes, like Mikey, like me, it takes longer for some people, to make that turn. But we need to be strong brothers, to not only help ourselves, but to help others as well. Because we are social. We only as good as what we can do for our family, what we can do for our friends. This is what we're here for in these relationships. We are here to do that. It's not we are not self. We are not an island. Even an island is connected to the land mass under the water. An island is still connected. It's not by itself. So we all connected. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead, bro. And RIP to that sister, bro, that you just.
Oh man, yeah. This is just devastating news. This is devastating news, man. Zeke Black is in the building. Shout it out to Zeke Black. And feed the wolves. And thank you for your content the other day. Mikey B and I know you called us out in the sense of asking us to kind of like have a second part. I don't know if you saw that, Mikey, a second part of the conversation that he had. I'll send you the link and stuff like that. But great content. Always like listening to Zeke Black. Shout it out to the bro, man. I mean, you guys said everything. I mean, Kabir is my mentor. Mikey B, I met Mikey B not physically, but I met Mikey B through his example. When you wrote books, Mikey, we were young, but the example that you set early on, you taught me a lot about myself. You taught me I need to write more, read more, so that I may write more, and that I may also inspire other individuals to emulate the good that I'm doing as a gang member. You were the first one that I credited with, even though you were wild and crazy. You know, we got all that from you. We know that about, right? So I think the part with me that resonated the most was that you still found a way to be positive in an abnormal and toxic environment. And your way of doing so with your team was to say, we need to empower ourselves so that we can have the financial resources to overcome our oppression. And that example through Hood Love early on taught me the importance of why I needed to have my business before I came home from prison. The reason why I got Conscious Mind Ventures LLC by law's permission is because it was through your example early on. So as my brother, I didn't forget that. So that's the part of you I love the most about, you know what I mean? Like, you left that lasting mark in my heart. I'm like, yo, bro is doing that from his cell. That was different. Where I felt really good, and I spoke highly about you for years because of the example that you set. And that, for whatever reason, people didn't really focus on that, right? That was huge. You know, and to KK, right? You know, you guys have been my brothers. I sat with KK in the masjid, and his event that KK just threw a month ago. Remember this, Mikey? He just threw his event down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
The reason why KK threw that event was by the grace and mercy of the Most High, right? But look, check this out. He started writing that non-profit material when we were in Shawanga, and he used to sit there with me on the musalla in the masjid, Kabir on right there on one side, going to sleep, drinking his coffee, eating his cookies and all that right there, reading the Quran, going to sleep. Me and KK next to each other, going over his EM3 nonprofit organization. I'm going over my business plan for Conscious Mind Ventures, and we helping each other out like that. That is the what I remember from our relationship. So for us to be out here and us to kind of manifest all of this, it was a brotherhood that held it together by Allah's permission. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that, because all of that helped contribute to the man that I am today. And I hope that it's something that you guys may have heard on this panel that could inspire you either to reach out to your brothers, those individuals who you genuinely consider to be your brothers. Y'all continue to build from there. And again, if it's individuals in your past who you may have had any odds with, then if you truly consider them individuals to be your brothers, then reach out to them and reconcile, because life is very short. I want to shout out everybody that's been tuned in, man. Zeke Black, Queens Guard, Double Law, Vic underscore 222, G'd up Quinn, Darren Mack, man. Peace, my brother, man. How you doing, Darren Mack? Shout out Miss Sunshine that pulled up. Who else is in the building, man?
Wise Brim.
I see Wise Red or Wise Brim. Okay, Wise. Oh, that's my guy. I see my sisters up in the building. Hold on, we gotta put her up here. Get some of her stuff up there. Walaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister. That's my sister right there. You know, anybody know Sawida? No, Sawida don't only hold Kabir down. Listen, she gonna hold the brotherhood down. She was on the front line. She was fighting people. Listen, y'all gonna let the brothers listen. That sister there, we know. We listen to her every other week on the radio station.
That's a fact. She was on that radio every other week.
All right. We see that you got a little food and all that. You know, you ain't sharing none of it, KK. All right, we see all that. Listen, Sal, we didn't play no games. Every other week, we tuned in on. What did the sister say? She said, I believe that you all did a major reflection before deciding to be with your wives. I believe that the women in your lives helped and encouraged the change that had decided to make. There's no doubt about that, sis. Like, I mean, and even in all of my imperfections, and the law knows best, and in all of our imperfections, that, you know, I always say that my wife is a better wife than I am a husband. My wife is the one that, you know, by Allah's permission, holds me more to account than anybody on the face of this planet Earth. And I could be real,
I
stupid
agree.
sometimes. Without you guys, I'm almost afraid that I don't know. I'm almost afraid of the man that I would be if I didn't have you guys. If I was not married, if my brother Kabir was not married, to you, sis, I don't know how life would be. I'm not even gonna lie. And Allah knows best. So I'm so thankful that we have, and Mikey, right? We all married. Look, that's another thing. We all came home married. Who would thought that?
That's amazing in itself too.
All of us come home married. Our wives held us
And
down.
all of us have but listen, check this out.
Crazy.
This is to our character and our credit. I don't like tooting my horn too much. You know what I mean?
So are you about to toot your horn?
Definitely. You heard?
Toot it on, Mikey.
This is for
Mikey,
all of
toot it on.
This is for all of us.
Toot
This is for all of us. We had strong women, changed our lives. Look, this is what family does. This is what relationships does. And let me tell you something. These are some of the factors that came with them releasing us. We are able to hold relationships that we couldn't have before. When we came to prison, none of us were married. We all had, none of us had girlfriends, or some of us might have had. But look, we all had lasting relationships, right? And it showed that we can maintain and keep relationships and keep things going. So that's a character for all of us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's big. You got to remember, bro. I was married for 15 years in prison, bro.
That's a fact.
People can't last 6 months married with a ring on it. The marriage is ended. So for us to have those type of skills to maintain relationships amongst each other, with our wives, with our families, it's a testament to who we are, who we have become. You see what I'm saying?
I see my eldest
it is,
brother.
Bro.
I see my eldest brother. Reality is in the building. He said peace to everybody. And he says, when I'm deeply concerned about the existence of a man I've walked with, I know that's my brother, regardless of what I call him or he calls me. My brotherly connections are unspoken. My brother's my brother, man. He's my different type of brother. And that doesn't mean he has to have matured to the same degree of concern about me as I have for him. And I think that we can all agree on that. And I agree. He has something else that he wanted to put up in there. Many times I've had to show and prove what a brother is because guys never experienced a real brother.
True.
And that's true.
That's true.
And hold on, regardless of where you was at, what I hear is we're wiser today than we were when we were younger. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And wise. Let me put up some of these quotes. Salute to Brother Kabir. We was in Elmira in 2011. A great brother. How you know he a great brother? Because y'all was in the L back in 2011. That's what make him great. Wise. That's what he was cooking. He was cooking crackhead soups with sats on and all. Come on, man. Don't do me like that, man.
Why?
Come on, Wise, because he cooks you a little crackhead soup with some salmon or something. That's what make him a great guy.
I cooked you the same thing.
Damn right you did.
Yeah, and made you sandwiches.
Listen, them sandwiches was mean. We used to go to the yard with them things I couldn't wait. Yo, if my wife didn't bring the package, I said, yo, sis bringing you the package? Because I need to know. Get some of the little grapes and stuff like that. Yo, Allahu Akbar. All right, so Scary 5 said, each one teach one, reach one brick at a time. Salutations to the brothers on this panel. You represent the real and sharing timeless jewels. Amani. Yeah, Faith. Yo, Terrell Tillman. Yo, when are we gonna get up, brother? I need to get up with you, man. We need to really, really link up. This is the brother from out west, you guys. The creator took us on the journey in prison, is where we met some of the solidest brothers that have established some of the strongest bonds ever in life. Family extends beyond blood, period. There is no question about that. And we need to extend beyond blood. When are we gonna get up, man? We need to link up. I've been trying to get you, man, but we got to find a way, man. I know Joey P was supposed to be our link, but we need to get in contact with each other, man. Please, man.
Yeah, shout out to Dijon too, man, and the rest of the brothers, man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep them well. He had sent me a link, telling me that he wanted me to come down to his office, man. I'm just so proud of all y'all, and I just thank y'all for being my brothers and being there with me. I thank my wife and my children because they believed in me when a time that these people didn't even want to let me go or think about even being released. you know, and they just came up, you know, and slept on airbeds and everything else. So there's like we moving down the street from the jail, and that takes a hard thing to do. You know?
That's family. You see that? That's real family.
Nah, that's a fact. I was there. Yo, I was there, man. I know. Yo, Wise Brim said it's good to see y'all brothers free. I was in Sing Sing with KK and Auburn with Moshe and Elmira with Kabir and 5 points with Mikey. It's good to see you, brothers. Yo, Wise, I know, bro. It's good to see.
Shout it out, bro.
I'm glad to see that we've all made it out that damn cage and that we're able to now contribute, man, because that's another thing. I know we're closing out, but the brotherhood piece is important too, man, because and this is not to take anything away from the sisters because we can't have the brothers without the sisters, but it's important that we understand our roles as fathers, as husbands, as brothers, as leaders in our communities, as global leaders. And I think this is important too. One thing I remember Soul B saying when we was in the box, Mikey, this is one of my funniest quotes with Soul B. You know, everybody know how Soul B is. Kabir, you know how Soul B is, right? He like,
So
yo, Moshe. He on the gate. We in Southport. He like, hey, yo, Moshe, I need you. Because Sobe swore he was like, you know,
the philosopher.
He was the philosopher, but we love him because big bro.
But he was sharp though.
He was very sharp. That's one of my mentors. I love him. I love him so much. And let me tell you something. He said to me, he used to put us all on the gate. He want all the homies to get on the gate. And within 30 seconds, tell us who you are and how you can become an impactful leader in your community. This is before individuals really knew how to articulate themselves like that. Yo, don't laugh, Mikey.
No, that's fire.
So he used to be like, well,
I love those things that stick out to us like that.
Yo, I love that.
I love those, bro.
So he would be like this. Hey, yo, Mikey B, you repping your set, but what happens when you get to your community and somebody asks you why you bang and what you gonna do to help this community out? We want to hear what you got to say. So, mind you know, everybody in the box, quiet, everybody listening. What you gonna say? And the point, one thing I say he was trying to help us is that he was grooming us to become leaders in this world because he realized that at some point they was gonna have to open up the gates, and we was gonna have to articulate who we were, what our position is, what we're fighting for, what we're fighting against, what we want, what we believe, how we want it, when we want it, and we want to be clear. And I think the brotherhood piece is important because everybody has contributed to the man that I am today, whether it's my biological brothers, my brother that's in the chat right now, whether it's all of y'all have contributed to Moshe becoming who I am today in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I think that's what's important about brotherhood, that we are all a reflection of each other. Thank y'all for tuning in, man, to We Locked In. We truly appreciate y'all support. We are about to close out. Is there any final words that y'all want to say before we do so, man?
I forget the brother's name that was in Auburn with me. I gotta ask, man, dude, he's a Muslim old timer. Sheikh, you heard?
Yes.
Be like, just remember what you're saying about Soul B.
Yes.
And this is a defining moment in my life, bro. It always like went through my mind from 2001. He used to be like, Mikey B, who are you? Who are you, Mikey B? Who are you? And you know, I got up on the gate. You know, Auburn is on the gate, you heard?
All day, every day.
So we on the gate. It's quiet. You know, you don't want to sound dumb, but I'm dumb. You know, I'm gangster. I'm like, you know, B, I'm that G. But deep in my heart, I'm like, who am I? And I had to like search. I went on to like words. It put me on a real search of educating myself and really learning who I was, man. So big up to that brother. I forgot his name. Old time Muslim brother. I gotta ask Man Dude because me and Man Dude was on the same side at that time. But yeah, bro, that's brotherhood though. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep you informed. It's gonna hold you accountable. It's gonna make you're responsible, and it's gonna make sure you're upholding and being the person you're saying you're portraying to be. This is what brotherhood is.
Yo, Terrell, tell me, and I thank you, Mikey, for that. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that abruptly. Terrell, tell me, can you please put your IG in the chat? this brother here. I'm trying to link up with the brother, man. We've been trying to get up. He said West Coast family is on deck, straight from Los Angeles, California. My reentry book is available now. To Educate Society and the Reentry Population Formula for Success Reentry 030. Where can we find this book? Is it on Amazon, or all we got to do is just punch this information in, and we're kind of like good? Because I want to support that right there, bro. And can you please put your information, your IG in the chat, so I could link up with you, man. Please, man. We got to tap in, man. That is a fact. I need to come visit you out there. Something, we got to link up. We got to do something, man. All right. G'd up, Quinn. I see you. Don't worry about it. Nothing but the truth. 718. We know you gotta go walk the door. We gotta feed the door, walk the door. We get it, man. Double R still in the building. My guy, still doing it. All right, man. Listen, man. We about to close out, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in to We Locked In. I'm your host, Moshe Canty. Y'all tuned in with my co-hosts, man, here. KK, aka Mr. Ford, Mikey B, Hood Love, and our special guest that came on, Abdul Khabir, Mahmoud Abdul Khabir. This is my brother here. We love him to death. Thank y'all, man.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, man. Assalamu alaikum, man. Peace,
y'all.
y'all. And to everybody that tuned in, please, everybody, if you have not hit that subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button on your way out, man. That like button as well. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. To the sisters that was in there as well, Miss Sunshine, my sister Sawida. Have a great night, y'all.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.